I need to apologize to Kalen DeBoer. Okay, I've been a fan of Kalen DeBoer's. Okay, it's been on the record. Been a fan of his since I discovered the guy. But I did say, I think it was maybe the first or second episode of this podcast, that I thought maybe he's not the right fit for Bama. Too nice, doesn't have what it takes to maybe thrive in the SEC. And I was completely wrong about this guy. He's got a reputation for being a nice guy. He's a silent killer. Okay. He may not be Nick Saban. He may not be, have that same level of intensity and intimidate you like Saban does. But that black hoodie means something, folks. And Kalen DeBoer is a silent killer. He's 13-2 in ranked versus ranked matchups. Okay, he's got all the other, you can go look at his overall records, which are glowing, but this is what matters to me. When he's ranked and his opponent is ranked, he tends to come out on the better side of that. I absolutely love him. I think he's awesome. I let that lackadaisical press conference after the loss of Florida State somehow cloud my judgment and opinion on him. And he's proving everyone wrong.
In your defense, that was a bad press conference.
It
wasn't a good day, but also, he has more important and pressing considerations than a press conference with us media folks. So give him a pass on that.
But don't take that. Don't take that his personality and the way he talks, and don't take that to mean that he's not a killer. Okay,
that he doesn't have that competitive fire and that dog in him, and you never want to be the guy that replaces the guy.
Right.
How cool of a story it will be if Kalen DeBoer just breaks that chain, because that would be an incredible story, replacing the greatest football coach in the history of the sport. And yes, you're not winning like Alabama did under Nick Saban, but this is a completely different environment of college football.
Yep.
What Nick Saban dominated it doesn't exist anymore. So for Kalen DeBoer, I'm glad you brought him up. He deserves so much credit because we were very hard on him. All the things we said after that loss to Florida State, in that bad press conference in regards to you don't want to be the guy to replace the guy. How Dabo would make sense as the next coach of Alabama, all of those things. Kalen DeBoer is not going to go undefeated at Alabama. But what he is going to do is keep you in the college football playoff discussion every single year. Even last year when you lost to Vanderbilt, you thought the world had come to an end. This year you celebrate that win because you know what Vanderbilt is about now. You know, as an Alabama fan, who Diego Pavia is. You know that team is capable of coming into Tuscaloosa and beating your team because parity reigns in college football. It did not reign in college football when Nick Saban was dominating. Not to say Nick Saban still wouldn't have had the same, if not even more success. I would argue he wouldn't because parity. Right. I mean, it's an even playing field. It's completely leveled out. And Kalen DeBoer is a perfect blend of coach that, yes, he's not going to be Nick Saban's undefeated teams, dominant teams. Alabama's Alabama. But as long as you're in the race, as long as you get in that race every single year, that's all you can ask for. And he's kept them there, kept them competitive. Even when last year there were letdown games, this year they're winning those type of games. And you have to judge him not against the backdrop of Nick Saban, but on his own merits and on his own merits in this environment in college football. Props to Kalen DeBoer. He is breaking the chain of you don't want to be the guy to replace the guy. And Saturday was a great test for him because Diego Pavia and Clark Lee, if they were called the Florida Gators instead of the Alabama Crimson Tide, everybody would be talking about, well, should we take Alabama seriously as a top contender again today? But because it's Vanderbilt and old biases die hard, you're not. But that was a good football team. And Kalen DeBoer had them ready, and he has an ascending quarterback. Alabama looks like one of the bigger threats in college football this year, and most all of that credit should go to him, who has had an unenviable and unprecedented task. And yet he continues, even when adversity comes, he responds and gets it done. So, yes, hat tip to one Kalen DeBoer.